Good morning, dear students. I am your English teacher, Ms. Rita Yadav. I welcome you all on my English channel. Today, I am going to discuss the English revision for half yearly. That this video is part 3. Dear students, it's a high time for you to have your revision now. Before that, I would like to discuss the paper pattern. Exam date 24th September 2020. Exam English. Time allotted 1 hour 30 minutes. Paper will be of 50 marks. This paper is divided into Part A and B. Part A 40 marks, Part B 10 marks. In Part A, mostly question type will be multiple choice question, answer in one word, fill up the blanks, match the column, true and false, and so on. In Part B, question type will be descriptive. Note, after completing Part A of 40 marks, you need to submit the paper. Then only you can start Part B. Discussion of the syllabus of the literature I have already given in video 2. In that video, in the last video of mine, I have given the revision of the poetry, the fog, painted ceiling, the butterfly and the caterpillar. Now, in this video, this time I am going to discuss or have a revision of prose. First, the Tempest, then the Open Window, then the Thank You Ma'am, then the Roland Ruby. So let's start. Firstly, I would like to give the high points, the peak points, the highlights of the novel The Tempest. It is written by William Shakespeare. A raging storm at sea threatened a ship bearing Alonso, King of Naples, and his court on their voyage home from the wedding of Alonso's daughter in Tunisia. From a nearby island, Prospero and the former Duke of Milan and his daughter Merinda watch the ship. Merinda worries about the ship's passengers, suspects that her father has created the storm using his magical power and begs him to calm the water. Prospero then reveals to Merinda the detail of their past, telling how 12 years ago his brother Antonio betrayed and overthrew them. With the help of Alonso, Antonio arranged for Prospero and Merinda to be kidnapped and set adrift at the season. Now, Prospero says circumstances allow him to take revenge on his enemies, and for this reason he was conjured the storm. Prospero's charm Merinda and she fell asleep. He then summoned his spirit servant Ariel, who created the storm. Ariel says that he had made sure everyone make it to the island alive, but scattered separately. Then mentioned that Prospero promised to free him early in return for good service. Prospero's angrily remains the spirit that had saved him from the prison of the witch. Once again, Prospero angrily reminds the spirit that he saved him from the prison of the witch. Ariel apologizes and follows Prospero's order. He makes himself invisible and goes to spy on the shipwreck's courtyards. Meanwhile, Ariel, still invisible, leads Ferdinand, Alsano's son, to Prospero. Ferdinand was the son of Alonso. Okay. Ferdinand and Miranda falls immediately in love, but Prospero put a spell on Ferdinand and takes him into custody. Elsewhere, Alonso, Gonzalo, an advisor of Alonso, Antonio, and Sebastian, Alonso's brother is Sebastian, awaken to find themselves safely on the shore. Alonso's mourn, thinking that Ferdinand had drawn his in storm. While Ferdinand does hard labor for Prospero, he encounters Miranda. They express their affection for each other. With secretly looking on, they agree to marriage. A bit later, Antonio and Sebastian resume their plot again and against Alonso. But Ariel again disputes it, appealing as a harpy. He accused them and Alonso of overthrowing Prospero and saying that only sincere repentance can save them now. Alonso immediately repents. Antonio and Sebastian pledge to fight back, but Prospero soon enchant and trap them all. Back at Prospero's cave, Prospero gives his blessings to Ferdinand and Miranda's marriage. In the play final scene, Prospero with Ariel counsel decides that rather than taking revenge, he will instead give up his magic and forgive his enemies. He presents himself to them in the robes he wore as Duke of Milan. The courtiers are astounded. The courtiers were astounded. Alcino's apologize and relinquish control of Milan, though Antonio remains silent. Alonso and Ferdinand are reunited, and Alonso gives his blessing to the marriage of Miranda and Ferdinand. Prospero then charges Ariel to ensure a safe voyage back to Italy for all, and then grant Ariel his freedom. The play ends with Prospero's epilogue, in which he says the audience to applaud and set him free. This was the drama The Tempest. I hope you understood. Go through the last video of this particular drama. That will help you more. This was just a summary. Now we move to the next chapter of the literature, that is The Open Window. This chapter is written by Saki or H. Munro. Both the names are same person. Both the names is of same person. Now we start with the lesson. Frampton Nuttall has presented himself at the Sapperton's house to pay a visit. He is in the country undergoing a rest cure for his nerves and is calling on Mrs. Sapperton's at the request of his sister. Though he does not know Mrs. Sapperton well, she worries that her brother will suffer if he keeps himself in total seclusion, as he is likely to do. 15 years old Vera kept Nuttall company while they wait for their aunt. After a short silence, Vera asked his Nuttall knows many people in the area. Nuttall replies in the negative, admiring that Mrs. Sapperton He only know her name and address. Vora then informed him that her aunt's great tragedy happened after his sister was acquainted with her. Vera indicate the large window that opened on the lawn. Exactly 3 years ago, Vera recounts, Mrs. Sapleton's husband and two young brothers walked through the window to go on a day hunt. They never came back. They were drowned in the bog and their bodies were never found. Mrs. Sapleton thinks they will come back someday along with their spaniel. So she kept the window open. She still talk of them often to her niece, repeating the words of one of her brother's favorites. Vera herself admits to something. Believe the man will all come back through the window. She then break off her narration with the shudder. At that moment, Mrs. Sapleton enters the room, apologizing for keeping him waiting and hoping that Vera has been amusing him. Mrs. Sapleton excused the open window, explaining that her husband and brother will be home soon, and she continued to talk on quite cheerful about shooting. Nuttall finds his conversation gruesome and attempts to change the subject by talking about his rest cure, a topic which bore Mrs. Sapleton tremendously. But she suddenly brightened up, crying, "Here they are at last." Nuttall turns to Vora to extend his sympathy, but Vora is staring out through the open window with horror in his eyes. Nuttall turns around to the window, sees Mrs. Sapleton's husband brother walking across the lawn. A spaniel is a name of the dog following him, and Nuttall grabbed his hat and walking stick and flick from the house. Mrs. Sapleton comes through the window and Mr. Sapleton comes through the window and greet his wife. Mrs. Sapleton mused with Nuttall's departure. That was so sudden, it was as if he had seen a ghost. Vera says that she believes it was the spaniel and frightened him. She tells her aunt and uncle that Nuttall is terrified of dogs ever since being hunted into a cemetery in India by a wild dog and having to spend the night in newly dug grave. As Saki remarks at story ends, make up that stories add a bit of excitement of life, romance at the short note is Vera's specialty. So this we have completed the open window. Now we move to another chapter, that is Thank You Ma'am. The story Thank You Ma'am by Langston Hughes narrates the story of a teen boy, Roger, who tries to snatch the purse of Mrs. John. Mrs. John is walking home one night when the boy tries to snatch her purse, but she is a large woman and so he is not able to overpower her to take the purse, but merely breaks its strap. Mrs. John takes him by his collar and asks him if he isn't ashamed of himself. He says he is ashamed. She then takes him to her home and makes him wash his face. She asks him about his home and she tells her that he has no proper home or anybody to take care of him. She then gives him dinner after asking him if he was hungry and answered herself saying that he must be, since he tried to snatch the purse, but he instead quietly surprised that he wanted money not for food but rather to buy some blue shoody shoes. To his, she surprised him by saying that he could have asked her for the money. She tells him, I were young once and I wanted things I could not get. I have done things too, but I would not tell you, son. After dinner, he finished. She gives him $10 to buy the shoes he wanted and ask him to behave from then on and not snatch anybody's purse anymore. As he goes out the door, the boy tries to say something more than just thank you, ma'am. But he hardly managed to say thank you before she closed the door, and the story ends by saying that he never saw her again. We have completed that poem. Now we move to another one, that is Roland Ruby. These are the characters of the Roland Ruby. Mr. Roland, his son John, butler, then two crooks, visitor and Joe, and this is Mr. Gasper. Dear students, I am going to give the summary of this Roland Ruby. Actually, at the center you can see there is a red color ruby. The story revolves around the ruby only. The drama runs around the precious stone, the ruby, which belongs to Roland's family treasure. Mr. Roland have his 14 years old son named John, who kept on eating all day chewing gum. One day, Mr. Gasper was invited by Mr. Roland to see the ruby and to give its estimates or the real value, as he was the greatest authority of the precious stone in the British Museum. So he was called by Mr. Roland. Yes. There was a butler, the servant of the house, who used to take care of the Roland's family and his house. Other two characters were the crooks. They were the visitor and the Joe. They want ruby, but they failed in their attempt because of the smartness of the boy John. When these two crooks were troubling Mr. John and Mr. Roland, and John means father and the son, that time John got an opportunity to switch off the light and then hide the ruby in the lump of the chewing gum which he was eating. At the end, both the crooks kept on fearing that Cobb may come and arrest them. So they ran away without having ruby, without getting ruby. And this was the happy ending of the story. This is how Ruby was saved by the intelligence of this little boy John. So here I have completed all the literature portion which is going to come in half yearly. Now your duty is to go through it and learn. This is all from my side. Thank you. All the best for the coming exam. Have a good day.